Biko, take us through some of the major highlights of the market performance today. There's been talk of jitters as we count down towards the referendum on the 4th of August.
I believe the market is actually, trying to respond to what will happen after 4th of August. The issue is not whether we're going to endorse a new constitution or not. At the end of the day, we're seeing several issues. I mean, being driven by different politicians from different sides of the vote. But I believe many investors are trying to figure it out, what will happen after, whether we endorse one or not. Will the country be stable? Will the current administration be able to hold it together? And I believe the market opening today on a lower note, I believe that's going to be the trend until we do the vote and until people are able to establish exactly what will happen after.
Let's delve into some of the newsmakers within the business circles. TransCentury seems to have struck quite an interesting deal with Citadel. It has been referred to as a tactical retreat by Citadel. And what's really unique about this agreement is that TransCentury holds only 34% of the RVR concessionaire, while Citadel is a major shareholder by 51%. And naturally, Citadel should be the one chairing that particular board. What's your analysis of what's happening within these boardrooms?
I believe at the end of the day, the Rift Valley Railways issue is one that has a lot of political interests. And at the end of the day, I don't think there'll be anything happening to the growth and restructuring of the industry unless certain political interests are met. And I think that's why Citadel realized that for them to actually see the sustainability of the interest in Kenya is to actually retreat and have an agreement, a shareholders agreement with TransCentury. Because as you look at it, these two groups have actually come up with two different vehicles that are going to represent their interest in RVR and then seeing the way forward. And I believe for RVR, giving up the seat of the chairman isn't, too much to them isn't really the issue. At the end of the day, for them will be bottom line, the aspect of revenue and profits.
And of course, TransCentury has been eyeing this particular deal for a very long time, and it must come as good news to them. What does this mean for TransCentury? What are some of the things that they can do being at the top of that board now? I
believe transport is one of the key areas that, that many people actually want to invest in, given the fact that we're now looking at 5 countries through the East African protocol. And I believe for them, this is the deal that will actually see their fortunes change, fortunes grow. And in terms of interest, influence, on how business is going to be, they're actually going to have a lot of political will to be able to do this now.
Okay, in the telecom sector, it looks like the marketplace wars have already begun. Safaricom seems to have lost one of its biggest dealers, that's Mobicom, which has jumped ship to Bharti Airtel, which is in many ways its biggest competitor in this particular region. What do you make out of this move, and what do you anticipate going forward in terms of competition tactics within the mobile phone sector?
I believe this is just the beginning of what's actually going to happen in the telecommunications industry. With Michael Joseph exiting Safaricom, with Bharti actually now flexing the muscles, I believe they've got a bigger war chest this time to play around, and I think that's streamlining the management, trying to look around, looking for strategic partnerships. And I believe for them to lose one of their key dealers who actually control 10% of the subscriber base is something that Safaricom actually needs to look into. But I also believe, they've really grown big, and I think the aspect of how the aspect of arrogance is actually checked in. So I know this is just the beginning. A lot of things are going to happen a lot of money is going to exchange hands. And I believe a lot of our products and services are going to be coming out.
All right. The Capital Markets Authority has approved TPS Arena's rights issue. His plan is to raise 1.2 billion shillings. It's mainly to refurbish the existing hotels as well as to fund the expansion. We've seen them now also set up shop in Rwanda. What is your analysis of this and your expectations of the rights issue? I
believe the rights issue for TPS has come at a bad time. One, because KCB is just winding up its rights issue aspect. They've raised 15 billion shillings. But I'm thinking what you're seeing, the trend we're seeing now with rights issue is like what we're seeing a while back with the IPOs. Like what happened to Safaricom, KCB, and the like. And I believe it's basically diluting the market. It's going to reduce investor confidence, because at the end of the day, people want to invest and be able to get money back. So where these guys are going to raise the money from is not going to be an issue. And then when the market is diluted, you'll realize the market becomes, it doesn't grow. We reach a plateau whereby it's going to be hard to either go up or down.
But if you flip the coin, though, there's a lot of interest, within the tourism sector in this part of the continent. We've just had Southern Sun is taking over the Holiday Inn, that's the Mayfair Hotel, as of this week. And, the tourism sector grew by about 11% in the first quarter of this year. So if we flip the coin, you know, does that still mean, despite the fact that it is a rights issue that, as you say, may not have come in such right timing, what's in it for TPS Arena in terms of growth?
Initially, I mean, for them to, the expansion plans are actually right on course, and I believe they're trying to position themselves strategically in the East African region. However, there are several factors that we actually need to look at. For example, the security issue. In as much as a lot of interest in the tourism sector, we've seen that many countries are issuing travel alerts to Kenya. So these are some of the factors that are actually going to negatively impact the tourism sector. So at the end of the day, in as much as there might be a lot of interest in this, this is one key issue, security issue, that's actually going to hold back investors. And that's why I'm saying for them to actually have the rights issue right now, several factors that are going to actually be negative to it.
All right, and of course all eyes on the Kenyan government as we head towards the referendum.
Very true.